Hey guys, how's it going? Silex here. So, as you can all see, I'm now working in Logic Pro X. I upgraded about a week ago and I've been absolutely loving it since. I like the new color scheme. I think it's a lot easier on the eyes. I think it's a lot more modern looking. And I love a lot of the new features that they've added too, such as the arpeggiator, track stacks, retro synth, etc., etc. So I thought I would just make this quick video and talk about some of the smaller changes that I've noticed so far between Logic X and Logic 9. So I just have a small list here, and it's in no particular order, and I'll just go through them one by one. So the first one here is back in Logic 9. If you wanted to loop a region or an audio file, you just kind of put your cursor near the top right side of it, and you can drag across, or you can simply press L, and that will toggle the loop on and off. So we can see that when you loop something, you get this kind of transparent section. It's really easy to see, and you know where your loop starts and stops. And in Logic X, they remove that transparent, so it's just a little bit harder to see where your loop starts and stops. So I don't know, it's kind of the first thing that I noticed. Next thing is that when coloring tracks back in Logic 9, we had the option to choose black and white. I really like that. I like using white and black often for sound effects and other things like that. It just helps me for my workflow, and I'm used to using those colors. And in Logic, how do I move back here? Okay, so in Logic X, they simply just remove the option to choose black and white. I don't know why. I don't know why that's an improvement, but whatever. I guess we just have to get used to it. And of course, if there is a way to customize colors, and if there is a way still to get black and white, please let me know in the comments. Okay, so the next thing is the transport bar was moved from down here near the bottom to the top. And of course, normally you would see it like this when you would start up Logic X. So you simply just click this icon here and choose custom if you prefer to have the old look of Logic 9 for the transport bar. Next is the library. So it used to be on the right side, and plain and simple, they moved it to the left side. I kind of really didn't like that at first. I was just so used to looking over to the right side, but I kind of like it now, and it'll probably just take you a few days to get used to. So it's not a big deal. Next is automation. So here it is in Logic 9. We got some volume automation down here. In Logic 10, same thing, only we kind of have this transparent color to go with the automation. I don't mind it, looks kind of sharp. If you don't like it, it's probably one of those things that you just have to get used to, but I really don't see a problem with that. So it's just a small thing that I noticed. Alright, so next is the screen adjustment. So I work with the Magic Mouse, so I can just side scroll left and right, and if I make my screen smaller, I can larger, I can scroll up and down as well. And if I hold down Alt or Option, and move my mouse around, you can see that you can adjust the size, both width and height. But you can see that in Logic 9, it kind of snaps it to a grid almost when you go like that. So there's nothing wrong with that, but in Logic 10 it just seems to be a lot smoother, and I kind of like that a lot. It's just a little bit laggy right now because I have both Logic 9 and 10 open right now. But yeah, I think it's really smooth, really sharp, and I like it a lot. So next is the size of the tracks. So in Logic 9, you can press Z, that is if you haven't changed that size to something else. There we go. And it'll maximize the track sizes for you. So it's kind of handy. You can also do it with the mouse as well, or just with the adjustments here. And there seems to be a maximum size, which is more than enough for me when it comes to editing audio clips and things like that. So no problem there. The only difference is that in Logic 10, there is no, or I guess there really isn't a limitation. You can make one track the size of the entire screen. So if you want to get really detailed and look at that waveform, well, there you go, right? So yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. Let's get back to regular size here. So next is the volume and panning on the track heads. Plain and simple, if you have a large track, it's just kind of like Logic 9. You've got the name of your track and all your input, record, mute, and solo. And in Logic 10, if you expand it out, you can see that we have this nice little volume and pan knob there. So I think it's pretty useful. And yeah, I like it a lot. So next is the mono and stereo icon, which has been moved for audio tracks. So back in Logic 9 here, we can see that we have this little icon here, mono stereo. It took me a while to figure out where the heck it actually was in Logic X. I was trying to set up my microphone here, and they simply just moved it up to the top here. So you click that, there you go, stereo, mono. So yeah, once I found that out, I was pretty happy. Right, so next we have the fine tuning. So in Logic 9, if you were to click on a region or anything like that, you can see down at the bottom part of your screen that there's the adjustments, I guess. And if you hold down Control, you can get really fine tuned. And if you hold down Control and Shift, you can get super fine tuned. You can see 195, 196, 197, 198, 199. So you can just get really fine tuned and move things exactly where you want. Same thing with MIDI notes here. You can move them like this. You can hold down Control. You can see down at the lower end it's 11, 3, 2, 231. And if you hold down Shift, you can move it by 1. So 232, 233, 234, 235. So I use it a lot if I'm doing super fine tune adjustments. However, in Logic X, all that works the exact same way, except for the MIDI notes. I found that you can hold down Control and get the fine-tune adjustments, but if you hold down Control and Shift, you do not get the super fine-tune adjustment. Now, I don't know if that's a bug or anything, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see once the newer updates and patches come. So yeah, not too big of a deal. It works just fine for the audio region here. You can move it by 1, as we can see. But for the MIDI notes, you can't. So just kind of thought that was a little bit weird. And yeah, that about covers all the small things that I noticed between Logic 9 and Logic X. So yeah, if anybody else out there has been working with Logic X so far, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about it, whether you like it, love it, or hate it. I'd love to know why. And I'd also just like to quickly mention that from now on, I would like to be, or I plan on releasing a tutorial once every 2 weeks. So be sure to keep an eye out for those. And of course, if you have any suggestions for me, feel free to write me a message or leave me a comment. So that about wraps up this video for now, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you learned something. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.